Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Tran, we're going on the road again, going to Fort Worth. First Big 12 road game since the announcement of Texas and OU heading to the SEC. A lot of emotions this week. You know how Gary Patterson feels about us. We're coming off a statement opening win in the Big 12. Dropped 70 on that head against Tech. Tran was good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Man, I can't wait to talk ball with you because there's a lot to jump into across the board. Before we jump into it, do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, BUSR, the official sports book, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Y'all saw the cool things we've already got going with BUSR contests and whatnot. Guys, there's still time left, just a few days left on that NFL 100 FP promo. Sign up right now on busr.com/fanatic. Sign up right now. Pause the video, go sign up. Take advantage of that 100% free play matching all deposits you put in. They match it. Very, very simple. Only just a few days left. So if you watch this video even at the end of the week, that promo may not be there. So take advantage now. busr.com/fanatic. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors. Tran, coming off Tech, when you drop 70 on people, accolades come.
Mm-hmm.
And people start getting their flowers, right? So we want to give a quick shout out to Casey Thompson and Xavier Worthy for their performances and the highlights that they provided, right? When we got to rewatch the game, the tackle breaking ability of Xavier Worthy, the precision passing of Casey Thompson, and the command and leadership. Casey Thompson, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week, Maxwell Award Player of the Week, Maxwell Watch List, Xavier Worthy, Big 12 Newcomer of the Week, as well as a bunch of accolades from Pro Football Focus, from Bleacher Report, just recognizing his contributions as a true freshman. This is good for the program. I feel like,
It's huge
just
for the
getting these.
program. Um, I think I don't. We had one Bolitnikoff?
Mm-mm,
We haven't had one, right? Even Roy
mm-mm,
Williams didn't get it. So
mm-mm.
if he continues to put up numbers like this, he's going to be in the conversation his first year. It's very special. It's also very good, especially on the recruiting weekend that we had this past weekend too.
Great point.
So, and that was the first thing that Xavier Worthy did was he tweeted, "Where the recruits at?"
Right.
So it's good. It's good from just an overall confidence builder. Putting up 70 points, not doing that since Colorado in what 2005, 2004.
2005. Mhm.
Yeah, but Casey Thompson. I mean, he had such a great game. Yet there's certain things that he could increase his ability on. Like the one play that goes into my mind is the pass. I think it was to Jordan Whittington in the back end zone where he
Mhm.
undershot it. That's one of those things that you're like, hey, throw it deep. We'd rather it go out of bounds than it get picked off, and then we live to fight another day. So I mean, there's certain little nuances that he could actually learn from. So aside from the awards, it's just great recognition for the program, and it's welcomed honestly, especially if it's not Bijan. I want Bijan to get his flowers, but it's great to see other people get talked about.
Agree. And you have marquee positions, sexy positions. We're talking about a starting quarterback. We're talking about a receiver, a speed receiver. These are things that, Texas fans, we want to see, just have our people out there. The other thing too is, and this is going to go into NFL draft conversation too, the quarterbacks around the country right now, it's not like last year or the year before, right? Like you had the Trevor Lawrences and the Joe Burrows and all these, Tua before that, and all these people blowing up college football left and right. Like kid over at Fresno State's balling, and there's people balling. Matt Corral's a Heisman favorite. He has his big test this weekend, of course. But and Bryce Young's doing his thing. But like Casey Thompson right now, if he once he gets a certain amount of passes, I believe would have the number one QBR in college football. Just another one under Sark, right? So he's somebody who now is bought in. And Steve Sarkisian talked about what Casey's doing at the line of scrimmage and, manipulating certain things and seeing certain things and just really having a good firm command. I think that goes right in line with, how he's being lauded for his film study preparation. It's just good to see a player evolve like this once given the opportunity. So, shout out to him. And Xavier Worthy's been a sponge,
Mm-hmm.
but clearly what he was doing on the practice field is translating to the field on Saturday. So enough said there for he said he doesn't. I believe he said he doesn't like to be called Big Play Zay, but I think that's a cool nickname. But
It's pretty
X
cool.
or however you want to call him, the brother's scoring touchdowns and the brother's getting yards. Period. So we're big takeaways from there. There are some concerns that we will take away that will merge into the TCU prep as we go kind of down matchups and whatnot. But let's get into TCU prep. Everybody knows what's up this week. All these coaches that we've had, Charlie Strong, Tom Herman. Tom Herman really only beat Gary Patterson one time, right? With the Sean Robinson game. That's it. Charlie Strong had the 50-3 massacre happen to him before we beat OU. And 2-7 against Gary Patterson, and that's why I have here. Can Sark crack the code? Did Sark crack the code? Oh, you know what? Before we get into full blown TCU prep, there is some news, Tran, right?
Yeah. Sad news.
Sad news. So Troy O'Mary out for the season. I believe he's having season-ending knee surgery. So O'Mary's gone. And then I believe we just heard as a recording, and sorry, and thank you for giving me the bat signal to remind me. Joshua Moore sounds like suffered. I want to say ankle injury. I'm not sure. Y'all can hit me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. But I don't know if he's eligible for this weekend, if he'll make it back. Sounded like it's serious enough to hold him out, which means Marcus Washington, as well as Calvante Dixon, Moochie Dixon, who was already playing a lot, but Marcus Washington, who I will touch on a little bit later. Hopefully, we get into some of that stuff, but we'll need those guys to step up in their absence, along with bragging on Xavier Worthy as well as Jordan Whittington. So appreciate that, Tran. I'm going to transition this to you though, because I feel like there's this aura of concern about Gary Patterson and our fan base because of the success that he's had against Texas and this maniacal focus that he's had and fixation on Texas. But when you look at the film, TCU, they've got really good, talented top end players. But when we're looking at how they're playing as a team, you struggle to beat a bad Cal team. Duquesne doesn't even count. We've already gone over strength of schedule when we broke down Tech, and we saw how that planned out, right? So your non-conference is essentially Cal and Duquesne, and then you get the other non-conference game against SMU, which is the rivalry game, and they came and planted the flag at M&G Carter Stadium. So, Tran, how do we battle this whole thing of respecting the coach and what he's done, but also understanding the opportunity that's before us in terms of the competition?
You forgot to say that SMU never got a call for the Big 12 invite too. So that's a big left out remark. But yeah, I agree with everything you say. Personally, I don't care about the aura anymore. If you're better, we need to go out there and beat them. Who's afraid? Who is afraid of TCU? I mean, honestly, go out there and beat them. Personally, me, I want to beat TCU more than I want to beat OU this year, and that's just because of all the noise that over the years, them smacking us around. Let's be honest. For all of Charlie Strong's tenure, We were beat down. Um, I think I've only seen them beat TCU twice. Mac Brown's last year, or the year a year before's last year, and then and then uh, a couple years ago with Deshaun Robinson, where he was shook. We just had him shook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see Max Duggan run all over us. I mean, he only has 110 yards in 3 games. We can't let him double that. Play sound defense, play sound offense, hold your blocks, and I feel like we should win this game. I mean, and I feel we have the right coach now that will get us aligned correctly. Because even the offensive line play, yes, I know it was Texas Tech, but it's still a Power Five defensive front that you're facing. We started picking up our left side started picking up stunts. I saw 2 different times that Christian Jones and also Okafor picked up a stunt, which it
They're
was like
struggling with that.
it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders that I saw that happen. So you're starting to see the coaching take place. You know, continue it this week, and then we have to put it all together against OU. I don't want to look ahead to OU, but we have to hold our own. I feel they have a bunch of really good players that Texas wanted that we didn't get. But I think that I think we're a better team. So we're gonna have a very tough environment that we're going into. They're gonna want our blood. I mean, they love to beat Texas. Like you said, that's what he gets up for, is he wants to beat Texas. So that's my energy, is like, go out there and beat them. I don't care. I don't care about the past. This is a new future for us. Just look forward, beat them, move on.
That has to be the energy. I know that this is the point in the video where people will say, "Hey, Steve, didn't y'all say that about Arkansas before y'all went there?" And that's why this is a truth serum game, and that's been
Mm-hmm.
one of my recurring themes all year. Is where we gather real data. No disrespect to TCU, and I said it was a truth serum game for the defense for PK. Just wanted to see how they'd match up, and there were things they passed on, there were things they failed on, quite frankly, last week. But overall, in terms of really, really gathering data, Gary Patterson treats these games like a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
He preps for Texas like it's a bowl, right? And that crazy energy and all that. I'm with you 100%. The past is the past. If you start thinking too much about the past, then it becomes almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then that person becomes the boogeyman. No, we're the boogeyman. And we don't have proof. That's why we don't have proof of that until you do it. That's why the Texas Tech thing, everybody's, oh, Texas Tech always does this and this. No, go drop 70 on them. Go run your stuff. I don't
Beat
care.
them in the
Now,
first quarter.
they've proven, at least to me, that they can, everything we're talking about in terms of that psychological motivation, they've proven that at home. And the home games, they've proven they can go out there and do this. Now we got to see them do it on the road. For me, I'm not even talking about Gary Patterson and TCU and Big 12 road game and the referees. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about going out on the road and having the mentality of we are going to be physical, having the mentality of we're going to play through the whistle, extra effort, blocking punt the same way we've been, we've gotten our hands on 2 punts the last couple weeks. All of these things. So those are controllables to me that can travel on the road. A couple things, because there was a very interesting tweet here by Joseph Hoyt that I want to share. And this happened. I wasn't even on 30 today, but I'm going to share this with everybody real quick because it's funny how um, they're in a rivalry game last week against SMU. Like as I said, SMU came and planted the flag, and now they've planted a billboard right in Fort Worth, right? And SMU, SMU brought the smoke to them. This is my point. Like there wasn't There wasn't this whole, oh, Gary Patterson, blah blah blah. Now we've already said the way Gary Patterson will approach Texas versus however he approached SMU will be different. But the point is, SMU wanted to go to Fort Worth and do this, and they're doing this for recruiting and all this type of stuff. Texas soil. Texas needs to have the same mentality SMU had. We're coming there to whoop your ass. We're coming there to plant billboards. We're coming there to plant flags. That's the energy they need to have. Okay. So I really like how SMU, like, SMU didn't even let it go after the game. So that's the energy Texas needs to have for how they should approach this. Now, from a game standpoint, right? Familiar faces, familiar foes. Max Duggan, Zach Evans, Quentin Johnston, Tay Barber, Savion Williams. That's just the offense. That's just the offense. And all those guys either have given us fits, we're familiar with them, or we were recruiting them. And even in those losses, we're talking about 42-34, Zach Evans right now is averaging 8 yards per carry. He's having a fantastic season so far. He's doing everything that Bijan Robinson's doing production-wise. Now, they're very different runners. Very, 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 very different runners, style-wise. But Zach's a home run hitter. Zach catches the football. It's great in screen game. And if you make one mistake, one false step, he's
Boom.
taking it to the house.
Yep.
And this leads me to the things, if we're going to talk about things to be concerned about, I will say this: what TCU does well is problematic, especially for our secondary, because Max Duggan will take shots. They opened up the SMU game and they didn't hesitate. They were taking shots. That's what they want to get one-on-ones. They're not going to sit there and try to read the defense. They're not. They're going to try to get somebody isolated, and they're going to challenge you. And they're going to throw 50-50 ball. Doug Meacham, again, he's been there. He was with Sonny Cumbie. Now it's just Doug Meacham. They've been running the same stuff forever. They did this back with Trayvon Boykin. Texas, we struggled. Deshaun Jameson, brothers were struggling in coverage.
Yeah, I think he
And I'm
graded
running
out at
out of
like 52.
excuses. I'm running out of excuses, man. You know, they're making the move now to, I think, go more Jaron Thompson over Brendan Schooler to get a little bit more. But Jaron takes better angles in the pass game, but he's struggling in the run game. So that secondary, if there's something I'm worried about, it's more so that and keeping that at bay so we don't get, last week could have been a big issue if our offenses started to stall.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried honestly because, like you said, it's a lot of go routes, and they have the perfect guy to beat us, Quentin Johnson, who's very athletic. He's very tall. He's very quick. Checks all the boxes. I think he did it 2 times to us last year. Even if he doesn't get the ball, I mean, Max Duggan's not the most accurate passers. So even if he doesn't get the ball, I can foresee multiple pass interference calls for underthrown balls. So it's a problem, and those pass interference calls are huge. I mean, they're drive killers. He's the guy who's targeted the most by Max Duggan. However, the person who's leading receiver is Tay Barber, like you said. So it's a 2-headed monster. It's not just one person.
No. And Tay Barber was a killer against us last year. They used him a lot on jet sweeps.
Mm-hmm.
They were killing us on outside zone. They will do a lot of the same stuff we do as well, out of pistol, out of shotgun, trying to get Zach Evans on the edge, cut back lanes, things of that sort. So there will be some similarities offensively, at least when you watch TCU on offense, to what we do. And I think that's interesting because one of the reasons why PK was hired was his ability to defend a lot of these multiple type of schemes and some of these things that people can do. And we didn't hit his goal last week of trying to keep 21 down, 21 under. Now game flow and the score and the game flow and all those things matter too, right? So we have to be fair there. um Tran, weather wise, that can be an issue because we're talking about unders, overs, and unders, and we'll get to that. Shout out to BUSR, official sports book and betting partner, Fanatic Perspective. But this weather, I think, could be problematic here. Weatherman Tran, weigh in on this.
So it's I think 71% chance of rain all day on Saturday in Fort Worth area. I think it plays to our advantage, honestly, because we can run the ball. I can foresee us running a lot of wild packages just to have that extra blocker. SMU really gashed them up the middle. I don't think we're really strong between the tackles unless we have that extra blocker. So
Good point.
I would like to see that as a little package. However, one of the things that I am worried about the weather is it's lightning storms and a possible delay, which that really just throws off everything. Momentum. I could point to the
Was it
Maryland
Maryland?
game. The Maryland game, we were actually gaining momentum, and then we had a 2-hour delay, and that just ruined everything. So that's something that I'm not looking forward to. I know you're not looking forward to it because you're going there.
I will be there, rain or shine. I will be there. I am not looking forward to potentially being in a delay situation
Yeah.
on the road, even though this stadium is like 15 minutes from my house. Which is funny. But as a fan up there, I'm not looking forward to, and that's just me as a fan. But you're right, for the players. And I think that's something that the staff needs to be prepared for. All situations, right? In their own downtime, hey, keeping guys loose, keeping guys fresh. Because when like you said, we got in that situation last time, it was a disaster. And it's really hard for a lot of teams. You see this in high school as well, high school games when they have to have any type of delay. And the rain situation is interesting too because of ball security, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest challenges we've had with Gary Patterson, this is my opinion. People can talk about the scheme 4-2-5, what he throws out there on defense, slowing us down over the last few years. It's not like we've been some sort of offensive juggernaut either. We've had good offenses. We've had offensive that can score points and have scored points, but our offenses were also pretty simplistic in, trying to keep quarterback run at bay. And then, sitting on everything else when we had the big receivers, they always played Colin Johnson really well. They did a good job of keeping little Jordan Humphrey at bay. They did a good job of keeping Devin Duvernay at bay. Like just not they didn't shut the faucet off per se, but they did enough. And then they also always force Stam into mistakes because of patience. Because with this defense, what he's throwing at you half the time is you sometimes you just have to be a little bit patient. So let's take last year's game, for example. I'm actually going to show just Max. We'll use Max Duggan because this is like a dual point I want to make. But if you take last year's game, and let me break this. So we look at Max. You see Max Duggan's stats here, right? And it's funny because it goes to the point about look at that. They took a L the week before, and then they took a L a week later. But they got us, right? So this is the game we went to, or I went to. I went to this game. You didn't go to this game, right? You had the birthday
No.
party, I think, last year. Anyway, point being, when you look at this particular game, and for those who don't remember, that's the game Sam Ellinger had 4 touchdowns, right? And I'm just using this box score as an example. I'm not saying, we're breaking down full blown analysis from a box score. But look at these plays. Look at this. Look at this. Jarrett Wiley had that big play down the seam, right? 52 yards. Keontae Ingram had the big catch at the end of the game, down the seam, from the backfield. He had another catch earlier in the game that was called back. I believe it was 68 or 70 yards that he had. Brennan Eagles had the big touchdown, right? Where he went, kind of like an over route, went over the safety. So I say all this because I'm going to go back to Max Duggan. I say all of this to say there are opportunities, but you have to be patient because the shots will be there for you, Texas. Just like they were there for us last year. This 4-2-5 defense, we talk about this defense. It didn't, we weren't, the defense wasn't so bad to where we were boxed up and couldn't do all these things. The thing is, you get into some of his pressure packages, some of the things he does up front. You have O'Shawn Mathis. He always has those safeties too high. Before was Adarius Washington and Morig. Those guys are gone now. He's got some transfers in there who haven't been playing as well, haven't been talking as well. Split them. If we could split Ardarius Washington, who I loved, and Morig down the middle, when you saw SMU's first touchdown, right down the middle, that's how you attack that defense. That's how you attack that coverage. You force them to get into other things. The thing is, Gary Patterson, they stuck with it, and we didn't continuously punish them for that. I don't know if Steve Sarkisian will have that same issue. Personally, those are the things that give me hope because at least I know how this team's going to attack me. And again, I know people are probably watching this video right now like, oh, but Steve, Arkansas, blah blah blah. Look, Arkansas has lived up. What that energy they brought that night, they've lived up to that energy week to week since they played us. They pushed around A&M a little bit and then beat them up on defense. So this isn't, Arkansas is what we face, and now hopefully we've learned from that, gotten better from that, got more physical from that. But TCU's not showing that on film. Period. When we've lost to TCU, we're not losing to TCU year over year because they're pushing us around and I'm bullying us and out physicaling us. We are making our own mistakes. When you fumble a football, game on the line, fumble the football at the goal line, like that's a self-inflicted mistake. When the coaching staff, after that said player runs all the way down there and gets you all the way down there,
hands it off to him,
and they choose to hand it off to him twice and not sub, those are self-inflicted mistakes. I have Max Duggan's stats up here. He's beaten us 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. So 2020, like I said, lost before or lost after, lost before, and then against Texas, he, that 26-yard run. That's self-inflicted. Wasn't that the quarterback draw where we just literally left the entire middle of the defense, and he almost damn near walked into the end zone? Is that Gary Patterson being a boogeyman? Or is that just us doing dumb shit? We got to break this stuff down in terms of if we want to talk about the past, how have we lost? If you want to overcome this, get out of your own way. Mm-hmm. That's just getting hey, alignment, just be aligned up properly. Tran, I believe if you can get out of your own way and not do dumb shit, you can save yourself 10 to 14 points in a football game. And that includes the coaching staff. That's why I have here, if I can get over here. This staff needs to be disciplined too. Everybody has to be disciplined. If you can overcome, SMU through 3 interceptions is still won by 2 scores. Texas, get out of your own way. Yes, I think Max Duggan, I agree with you guys. Is he going to come out with the confidence and energy of somebody said of Roger Staubach? Yes. That's how they always play us. Is Zach Evans going to try to break a 75-yarder on us? Yes. Don't care. I'm with you, Tran. I don't care. We're gonna beat you anyway. So this is 2019, his freshman year, right? Look at this. Lost the week after, lost the week before. Week after, he threw 3 picks, but against us, he's 70%, 2 touchdowns, 77 yards on the ground. Take that away. Take that away. Force him into mistakes. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I think, Doug Meacham in that crew is going to be kind of similar to Tyler Shuck, where it's going to be very quick decisions in terms of slant, bubble, go routes, what he's throwing. He's not going to sit back there and dice you up. He's not going to move and extend or be a playmaker like a Kyler Murray.
Do some progression reads.
No,
Yeah.
no. And then they'll work off a screen and inside outside zone with Zach Evans. Now I'm curious to see. We are running a different defense if they try to test us with any of the jet sweep stuff that they were killing us on last year. I mean, I would throw something out there, but it's against a different defense. But discipline. You know what they're going to throw at you? The test is my defensive backs got to play better. They got to play way better in this game. Offensively, Casey Thompson, big test for him because he's going to be. This is something that Sam Ehlinger really struggled with. Was I got to move the ball, got to push the ball downfield, and then would throw a pick right before halftime when we're in 2-minute drill, where it's like, dude, throw it away, take your check down, be patient, use your legs. It's okay to scramble and get 4 yards, move the chains. Now the good news is this: Casey Thompson has been fantastic at doing that in the games. Can he replicate that in his first road start? It's the question, Trey. In terms of run game for us, because this is what I'm interested to hear from you. Um, what other factors, run game, pass game, all that? What other factors are you looking at here in terms of keys to victory for Texas?
Keys to victory is all on the defensive side. I think we're starting to click on offense a little bit. Like I said, we're progressing from week one, week over week over week. But defensively, we have to keep containment. I can anticipate that Zach Evans is going to be used as a decoy a lot. As a QB read, and get him up the gut, get the linebackers moving side to side as opposed to upfield. I have a feeling he will throw a lot of deep balls to see if we can get some just pass interference calls. Offensively, like up the middle, like I said, like you said too. I could see Jared Wiley having a couple good catches. I could see Xavier Worthy. He was eating over the middle, and same thing with Jordan Whittington. So I feel like if we can hold our blocks, we can communicate. That's the big key right there. Is can our offensive line communicate in this environment?
So, to your point about Xavier Worthy, test for him. If he gets Travius Hodges-Tomlinson, who hasn't shown to travel, everybody says he's the best corner in the Big 12. I'm inclined to agree with that. He reminds me a lot of the cat we faced at Louisiana Tech a couple years ago. That was really that smaller brother, but he was really, really good. Number 21 on Louisiana Tech. His name escapes me right now. I think his last name was Robinson or something like that. But he was a really good football player. This kid reminds me of him a little bit because he also plays the ball well. And I feel like teams have, kind of shied away from his side, especially, and I would too, because they have a lot of problems at corner on the other side, and they've been starting some randos. It sounds like they're going to get some people back from injury, including their nose tackle. So of course, TCU's at full strength when they play us, right? Everybody, all those people that were missing against SMU, they'll be back in the lineup. But no worries because we're bringing the smoke to Fort Worth, right? So I want you at full strength. I want your best. I want your best shot. However, it is a good test for Xavier Worthy because if he does face Tomlinson, that'll be the best matchup he's seen. And what type of coverage does Gary go with? When we put Worthy in the slot, because it's not just a man on man thing. We're doing orbit motion. We're doing all sorts of stuff. We got bunch where we got him off the line of scrimmage. He has free release. Do they start to bracket Xavier Worthy? Does he start to get that type of coverage? Or will some of these Big 12 coaches say, hey, I'm going to put my best man guy on you. I want you to prove it. We're going to try to bump you. We're going to try to get physical with you. I think that's something to keep an eye out for. But that's why it's also so important that Jordan Whittington got going last week. Because I had another receiver on the other side that got 8 catches, 93 yards. Okay, cool. Now I can move the football around to where teams can't just key in and harass one guy. Marcus Washington, we
Yeah,
brought him in.
I was gonna bring him up. Marcus Washington. What's your thoughts on trying to get him the ball a quick pass early just to get his confidence up?
They did last week. They got him one, I think in the late first, second quarter, where he had a really, really nice ball to the sideline, was 20-something yards. I like to see it. I'd like to see him get more action. A, he's a talented receiver, and it sounds like his consistency is starting to come along. And B, he is a fantastic run blocking receiver. Look at all these run touchdowns. Marcus 15's on the screen. Even going back to the bowl game, going back to the Colorado bowl game, Marcus Washington, to me, is the best run blocking receiver we have, and one of the better run blocking receivers I see in college. Because it's not a coincidence half of these plays that are being run, especially these outside plays and these developing plays, Marcus Washington's sealing the edge. He's getting the field. He's getting the safeties. It's something that a lot of people either don't notice or we don't talk about with receiver blocking. But I'd like to see him get rewarded with some catches for all the good hard work he's doing on the perimeter. Shout out to Marcus Washington. He's making life easier for Bijan Robinson. And that's going to be the number one target they put on their board, TCU. It's three things that they'll put on their board, Gary Patterson. Slowing down Bijan Robinson, hey, gang tackle, all those type of things, eliminating the big play. That includes him in the pass game. Number two, how do we end this Casey Thompson party? How do we make him prove it? How do we make him sit there and start questioning things? Because there has not been a team that Casey Thompson's seen where he's asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time Casey Thompson has stepped on the field, and that's why we love him, he's had the answers. Or he's been able to say, oh, it's not there. I'm going to move my legs. How do I introduce doubt to Casey? Because Arkansas was able to do that to Hudson Card, right? So if I'm Gary Patterson, what can I throw out
And it's
there?
got to be early too.
And it has to be early because
It
Casey
has to be
Thompson's a
early.
juggernaut.
Yeah.
Once he starts going,
Yeah.
it's a wrap. If he comes out and gets 14-0,
Yeah.
oh, we rolling.
Yeah.
Right? Rain or no rain. That's the energy how he operates. So I agree with you. It's gonna have to be something early. And the third thing is the coverage on Xavier Worthy. And what that if I'm Gary Patterson, how do I dictate those things? So he'll have everybody's attention this week. O'Shawn Mathis will, D Winners, all these guys on that defense, they'll be turned up more, but it doesn't matter anymore, Texas fans. And that's the message we're trying to say is to beat the boogeyman, go be the boogeyman yourself. Go do what SMU did. We come into there, we plant our flag. I'm not saying we're going to come there and plant the Longhorn flag. I don't care about that. But it's the energy with the execution, with the discipline. Execute.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of your own way. Don't have 4 people in the box when it's 5 wide and and you're giving up quarterback draw. Don't just give it to them. Right? Don't substitution. Can't come back tell me Stan Drayton that I didn't realize he was gassed. Had him in there. That's not a Gary Patterson problem. Don't make it, because people are going to leave the game if we lose and be like, oh, you see, Gary Patterson did it again, right? There's a reason why TCU and Gary Patterson are a 500 football team the last 5 years. They haven't been that good. We just go up there or at our home and we play C plus football when we play them. If we play TCU with the same energy and focus that we play OU, we wouldn't be having these conversations.
True.
So, with that being said, let's get to predictions and we can wrap here. What are you thinking?
35-24. And it's mainly because of weather.
And with the weather, you think, how are we getting to 35? Are we running the ball over them, or
Picking and choosing our spots to hit.
okay?
But yeah, for the most part, I think we're going to be reasonably balanced. I want to say pass to run, but I think it'll seem like it's majority of it is running.
So I'm pulling up because I'm debating on a particular number here, but in terms of so if I get to let's see, there's a particular number I'm curious about, and that's I should have had this pulled up beforehand, so forgive me.
All good.
But the point is, where's that? There we go. So not the line or the over under is 65. And last week was 61, which I thought was crazy. So if you guys didn't hit up BUSR after we gave our predictions and bet the over on 61, that was the easiest money you could have made last week. I know I made some money on that. So 65 is interesting though, because of the weather. If it wasn't for weather,
Yeah, I'd be pushing out more. It would be a higher score.
Mm-hmm. So you have 35,
24.
24. So
Just 50. It's under. I'm calling the under.
Under. I'm going under as well. But my score is a little closer. My score is going to be 30-23. So I do have it as one score game. And the only reason why I have it that type of margin is out of respect for their playmakers that they have, and the fact that Texas still has to prove to me that they can have that type of energy we've been talking about the last couple weeks on the road. I need to see that on the road.
Fair enough.
I don't have questions about energy being brought to Dallas the following week against OU. I don't. But for us in a true road environment, by the way, I'm excited because it's going to be the first real road game I've ever been to as a Texas fan. I've been to home game, bowl game, neutral site, championship game. Never been to a true outright road game. So I'm excited just to see, the environment. 11 a.m. kickoff. It might be raining. So who knows if that's even, what the environment will be like. But I'm going 30-23 with my score. You're going 35-24. So we're not too far away from each other. But we both have Texas securing the win and going into OU 4-1. Right? So, guys, y'all let us know what your predictions are. We're taking the under. Let me know if you're going to hit up busr.com/fanatic and take advantage of that promo. Right? Now, we both have Texas covering because the spread is -5. Texas -5. So we both still have Texas covering. I am going under on the points just with weather issues. And a few days left to take advantage of that promo. Tran, appreciate you coming on. Guys, we'll have a little bit more content at the end of the week, more big picture college football stuff. Next couple weeks in college football are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of big games, lots and lots of big games. So you can If you're looking for a sports book to bet on some of those games, hit up usr.com/fanatic. Show your boys some love. We appreciate y'all. And remember, what is always up. Thank you.